What up, thou brethren and sisterin? That sounded better in the confines of my mind. I'm Pommy and Oz, as always. We've got a rotating show tonight. We've got a few late comers, so you're going to have to deal with me. But I'm excited after what feels like an eternity. My yin to my yang, my good mate in real life, my fellow statistical guru, Leg Dog, he's finally back. Leg Dog, welcome back, my friend.
Mate, Pom, I didn't want to come home from your motherland, but I thought it's been 4 or 5 weeks. I think Pom needs a bit of a chop out. The other boys have done a great job assisting, but I think I've got that. I think I've got that wow factor, that class that I can bring to the table.
Mate, I still don't know what the fuck class is, but you certainly have it. You certainly have it, mate. It's great to have Let Dog back as you all flitter in from chat. Go on, tell you what, bit of filler. Tell us, how was England and Ireland and Scotland and Wales?
And Italy. It was really, I mean, mate, it was an amazing trip. And if I didn't have a couple of dogs to come home to, I definitely would still be over there. But I think my brother ran out of patience looking after my house for a month. So I had to come back and look, had an amazing time. Loved Scotland, loved the north of England, loved Wales. London I could probably do without, but I did catch up with some friends there. Had an amazing time. And from the football that I saw over there, Carlton should be undefeated because I saw us, I can't remember who we beat, maybe Geelong. Then I saw us play GWS and I only saw the first quarter and we were up by 40 points. So I thought, great, that's another win. And then I saw the first half of the Bulldogs and somehow we've not won all those games.
Fucking, I watched them, mate, twice, 3 times in some stages. I can't tell you how we lost them games. Maybe because you stopped watching. You might be cursed.
It wasn't a choice. I was on a train from going into Continental. I don't know if that's correct, but I was heading somewhere and I had no reception. And then I finally arrive in Scotland, I think it was, and we've lost against the team when we were 40 points up. I saw the last 2 minutes of that game. We kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes, and I thought maybe I'm the good luck charm.
I think you are, mate. I think you are. Well, I mean, we're here today to discuss the team and a few injuries and chat. Let us know what your thoughts are, but we'll pick on the new kid, even though he's the old kid. We've got a few forced changes. Take us through it and chat. Ask some questions, but we've had to swing the axe, haven't we?
Yeah, so there's a couple of forced changes. Durden and TDK. Sam Durden played very well in his last ever game in the navy blue. He actually didn't play that well, but I don't think we'll see him again. And TDK is obviously forced out. So Gov comes in for Durden, Wiedering to take Charlie Dix and McGovern to do the intercept work, and we've really missed him over the last few weeks. And then Pito, who I would have had in the team anyway every single week of this show while I was away, Pom, to be honest with you, he comes in to cover TDK. I've taken the opportunity as well to rest a couple of players, and Cunners we've put rested, but Cunners I just don't want in my team, so maybe that's a bit harsh. But in comes Kemp. We rotate Walsh and Cottrell through that wing position that he plays. Or it doesn't have to be Walsh, but I've got Walsh in there at the moment. And then basically Cunningham comes out because I had to find a way to get Jackson Binns in. I've picked him almost every show we've done this year of this show, and he's finally had a game that I think even Vossi might ignore it, but 3 goals, 47 touches. You get in my team if you do that in the VFL. And poor old Jack Carroll, I mean, I know we're not highlighting subs here, but I've moved him to my sub position because while he was okay, I just don't think he's actually that impactful. I think he looks more impactful than he actually is. And I liked him as
left foot from stoppage. Left foot. We're Carlton. We always have a left footer in stoppage.
And I know that everyone's going to say we're too slow these days, but we've got Pito in for TDK. Let's just load up on trying to win the contest, win the ball around the contest to clear it out. So I've got Cripper and Chera in there because Chera wasn't terrible off halfback, but I just prefer him in that midfield mix. And that's pushed Walsh to a bit of an outside role. He can chop in and out. And then we've got Kennedy to rotate on the bench. Chincotta is my 7th defender / tagger as well. I think he can come off those. He can come out of defence up into the contest and tag if need be. Was close to maybe removing him from the side, but I don't want them to play like a Hewitt as an out and out tagger. So Chincotta survives for now. So that's my team.
Welcome to the show as well. Flat cap wearing, stat flaring, SEN representing, Arsenal legend, Mr. Paul. How are you doing, mate?
You've sold me short there, I reckon.
Sold you short? Fucking hell.
I'm absolutely fantastic, Pommy and Lek Dog. Good to have you back, sir. Good to see everybody active in the chat, everybody watching. This is an interesting team selection this week. I think it's going to be a bit of a tricky one. I like your changes, Lek Dog. I'm interested.
Thank you, mate.
How you're going to continue to justify them because that's what this show is all about. But hope everyone is doing well.
No, doing very well. Been in your home country, Paolo, for a wedding. So life's good, mate. I'm feeling great.
How did that go? Was it a carb load? Had to have been a carb
load. Oh, mate, I loaded up. I've never eaten more pasta and drank more wine in my life.
I have.
Yeah, I bet. Pommy, you do owe me a slab though, because Matt Gandolfo in chat has already hit me with the bins 47 not damaging, just filled his pocket. Okay. I did bet you before the game was going to be 100% said in chat.
Yeah, some of them might watch my VFL wrap though, so I might have taken a bet and also been publicising this for 6 weeks. But I've got a question. A few of them asked it in chat. Boyd, here's a test. Are you just erring on the side of finals caution?
Yeah, I'm erring on the side of caution, and I'm erring on the side of I probably haven't, admittedly, it's tough to watch the game on your phone, but I haven't been in love with his last couple of weeks. It's sort of probably between him and Chincotta and the versatility Chincotta gives us this week, particularly with guys like Butters or Rosie in the team, probably edged Chincotta ahead of him. And I've enjoyed Cowan's form of late, and he's had a bit of a hybrid role at times. He's had to play tall, and in the games he's been able to sort of play a little bit looser and a bit more attacking. He's been really good. So I think he can do that job if we get in this instance, a Kemp and a McGovern back in as the talls.
Mate, I love it. I love it. Paul, have you got any questions for him in chat? Don't be afraid to throw questions at Lek Dog. He's got about a 20% cynicalness since he's returned. So some of his answers may be fire. But Paul, the floor is yours.
The wing position, of course, is a position of debate this weekend, given Akers was sore post Kangaroos game. Did you consider shifting out or shifting someone who's currently in the team? I know you've got Walsh there at the moment, but did you consider not bringing Binns in and shifting someone else into that wing role outside of the Akers for Binns swap?
Yeah, so I actually, I'm not sure that I'm running Binns on the wing at AFL level. I might even let him and Cottrell sort of not permanently. So him and Cottrell, in my head, are sort of rotating through the wing and that forward, sort of half forward flank role between the two of them, and Walsh sort of in and out in spurts. I think it might have been your video actually where you talked about utilizing Walsh a bit more sporadically through the center, and if it was you, well done, because it resonated with me.
Mate, I have my moments. Say you've only got to ask my wife. Just every so often these lips have 5 minutes of fucking magic.
I want to shout out Aiden in chat. how's my opinion of we don't have the rucks to lead us to a flag? My opinion was not that. My statement was our premiership ruckman has not played for us yet. So, and
I just want to put a point out. When he said that, he Pitternet hadn't played.
Pitternet hadn't played, and I wasn't saying TDK to come out of the side at the time either. I was implying that we'll probably play the two rucks, or maybe my boy Hudson O'Keefe becomes the greatest player of all time, which he's now injured again, so we can forget about that.
could let that be just have hit the Carlton prophecy?
Is he injured again?
I think he was on the injury report with a hammy.
Yeah, he was.
Really?
Yeah. However,
it just goes sort of under the radar, doesn't it?
I can confirm, though, this time it wasn't a stupid injury of showing off at the end of training. This was actually playing football. So I'll forgive him this stint on the sidelines. The 8 to 12 weeks, I'm never going to forgive him for.
No.
Oh, yeah. I've just seen which confirmed the hamstring strain. Great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was really disappointed to see that. And I didn't see him. I actually watched the VFL game, but I didn't really see it happen, or maybe I was looking away. I'm not sure.
Mate, it was a good one. I like your team, like dog. I do like it. Chinkara, who you tagging?
It's a good question. Who's more damaging at the moment? I'm probably more scared of Rosie myself, to be honest. I know Butters is very good, but Rosie can go forward and in a way that Butters can't. And I think Chincotta, he can go back into defence and play on a forward rotating Rosie if he needs to. Butters is going to get a lot of the ball, and I think he's a bit of a butcher anyway. Well, they got tagged last week and he wasn't that effective. It's a tough one. But for me, Rosie would probably be my first target.
All right, mate, I like it. Well, I mean, that's a good team. Albert, Albert, good question. Just cover that again. Carroll over Connors. What was your thought process there?
I think if Connors is going to be in your team, he needs to start on the field and not be the sub. Probably be the start on the field and get subbed off later. And I know he was only on for, a quarter or half a quarter, but he just kind of looked a bit lost. And I'm not confident he'll be at the club next year at all, to be honest. So I'd just rather invest in the guys I kind of trust a little bit more right now, particularly given the amount of changes we already have. Would
you say that Connors kind of resembled a little kid lost in a shopping centre?
I think that's a relatively good way to put it, Bobby. I don't want to be too harsh on him because it's hard to come on. I imagine it's hard to come on an impact like that. But he was like 10. It was like he was lagging and he was about 10 seconds behind everyone else.
Mate, he was just in Kmart and he got lost in the toy section. He was just shouting for his ma.
And I don't have Jack Martin in the side either. Pommy, I couldn't really work out what role he was playing on the shitty VFL stream, but not the one that I want him to.
Who was that, sorry?
Jack Martin.
Jack Martin. Well, on the subject of Jack Martin, to keep you are on fire today, lad dog. You are on fire, and I'm going to put myself in Lek Dog's sharpshooter firing line. So I went very similar. I brought in Mark Pitternet because my options are literally Mark Pitternet. Jordan Boyd did come back. Mitch McGovern obviously came back. And Jack Martin returns for Les Blues. Caveat, I absolutely fucking hated his VFL game, so don't come at me. Out comes Akers. Long term, I think we need our wings fully fit and firing. And with all respect to Jackson Binns, I don't feel like he's AFL level yet. And if there is an injury to Akers long term, I wouldn't trust the spread with Binns in finals. So make sure Akers is right. Sam Durden, obviously, the guy is, do you know what I mean? He's a little bit like, the Atkins diet that your mums used to do in the 90s. Happens twice and then you never see it fucking again. So there it is. TDK injured and Jack Carroll. I'm going to be totally honest, and you can hate me all you want, chat and panel. I watched his game and I don't get it. I don't get what Jack Carroll is. So I favoured Connors because I know what Connors is, and I think a full game, he brings the spread, brings the heat. You'll see Chera back at halfback. I did like that rotation. I think the 10 intercept possessions speak for itself. That first half, every halfback in our team was dog shit. I want to see him, though, more in the midfield time. And I felt like Carroll took the midfield minutes off Chera. So this team I've picked, he's forced it. I did want to give Cowan a rest, but when I started making 5-6 changes, I was like, Jesus, we're off the back of a win, Pom. So, yeah, and I brought Jack Martin in. Why did I bring Jack Martin in? Well, I figured this is the game that you play it. You play him in. I think Jack Martin's a show pony, to be honest. And I think in the VFL, I was watching him and he's kind of just like wandering around. He's like, doing a side step air, looking completely biscuit-arsed. But, bright lights Friday night, the ball comes in. He's going to do something. And I feel like this allows us to have that extra midfield rotation, playing him in there. And I agree with Fabian there. He's like Farlap, spot on. Like in VFL, he just looks like he's there. He looks like Danny Zuko's mate in Greece.
I'm a little disappointed in myself now because I think I've bought him in 12 of 13 streams I did this year, and I've left him out in the first one. He's actually available. So I'm a little disgusted in myself having heard you speak now, Bomb.
Yeah, and that was it. And then my other choice was Kennedy or Carroll. I think it's Kennedy or Carroll because I don't know what we're doing with Kennedy. Like fullback now. He was a halfback in the second half. He was a forward 6 weeks ago. I brought him in purely as a midfielder. And for Carroll, I feel like my reservation with Carroll at the moment is we've got a lot of these players in the midfield who are kind of midfielders. I want him to go into the VFL, learn a role, so we can have a conversation about, are you an inside midfielder? Are you an outside midfielder? What are you? Because I still don't know what Jack Carroll is. Honestly, apart from Cripper's mate, and that's no disrespect to him, but I can't see it in the AFL. I just don't see what he is that Kennedy can't do. That is my team, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world because I said that I'm only bringing people in the VFL who are knocking the door down. Jack Martin is in. Kill me.
Did you not rate Jack Carroll's game at all on? Because I haven't watched the ratings show yet, but it was that. I know you said he's sort of taking away midfield rotations by him being there, but is that based on form or just more balance in the team?
Well, I mean, he got an average rating, which I think is fair. I thought he was average, and like AFL average, that's quite a compliment, but he had a decent amount of inside midfield minutes. So he played 28% all game in the midfield as an inside midfielder, and he attended nearly all the stoppages, and he had one clearance. Mm. And I just feel you had Chera there. He's better. I think Kennedy is better. I just see like he's hanging on, and I'd rather have Cunningham there, and I'd rather have Kennedy there for his strength. I just feel like at the moment Jack Carroll is exactly like his draft year. He's kind of a midfielder. He's kind of not. And I need more. I need more.
Yeah, I think there's for me, like I noticed him a lot more on the ball because obviously he was on the ball. But for me, I think there was I found that he was actually involved in the game a lot more than what I think Chera had been in that midfield role too. And I know he had the one clearance, but at least he's got some sort of penetration with his kicks as well. So I don't know. Maybe I thought it was a game he could build off. To be honest,
it sounds harsh. I watched that game and was like, And I agree with Fabian. Third quarter, he was good. He was always that little handball in traffic.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, we are playing a side that is weak mentally, North.
Yeah.
He's getting easy ball. Why isn't Chera getting the easy ball? Like, he's obviously out of form. If I was the coach, I would have been like, right, the game's opening up here. Get Chera in the middle. Get him some touches. Because Chera, I think we forget, the first 6 rounds when there was no Walsh, Chera was doing the Walsh role pretty sexily.
Leading the club BNF, weren't we saying? I can't quite remember that far back, but I remember us being pretty
people
excited.
were frothing his game. So, like, we need to find a bit of form for him. Like, because I know it sounds harsh, but Chera's going to have a longer career than Carroll.
Yeah, you would suspect so. Yeah, it's an interesting debate, interesting call.
I'm not being harsh. I love Jack Carroll. I just feel like...
No. Well, we've got someone has to make. There's just so many bodies we can throw through there. You can't put them all in. Someone's got to make the call. You have to make a judgment call.
Mate, spot on. And Matt asked the question. I specifically left Kemp out for a reason. I liked his game at the weekend, and I'm going with the George Hewitt theory. Keep him hungry, because I think it's obvious you bring him in this week. And I wanted to give Cowan the week off. And I was like, if I just give Cowan one more week and make Kemp rest on his laurels, don't come straight back in, son. Do it again. One more week. And then I thought, Collingwood, he's going to be fucking hungry. He's going to be hungry. He's going to give me everything next week.
Like it.
And we know what Gov's like. He'll hurt himself in the warm up, and we'll need to play a Kemp anyway. But
he's back. He's back. Cynical. I love it. Go on, Let Dog. Ask me about Bins.
No. Look, I as I said, I put him in just because of the numbers and because I just have liked him since his draft year. I actually don't expect him to be in there in real life. But what was your reason? My reasoning for him is he got 47 disposals and kicked 3 goals in the VFL. That's the extent. That's as far as my analysis goes, Pom.
No, mate, it was his best game, but it was his best game for like 3 weeks. Like, because the last 3 weeks before that, he's been okay. And I said it in my VFL a couple of weeks ago, I felt like he was just going through the motions now. It's like he knows he can do it. And it felt like I was waiting for this game. But I watched last week, Ollie Hollands, Akers went to half-back. He got that knock. And then Ollie Hollands became the aggressive winger. And we saw what Ollie can do, right? We can see he's direct. Yes, some of the kicks he took on didn't work. Sometimes he made mistakes. But I'm looking at it this way. Nick Newman for 2 years was the shit kicker, so Cade Simpson could get easy ball. Cade Simpson retired. He got the big job. Ollie has spent 2 years basically letting Newman overlap him, Sard overlap him, protecting his half forwards. If anyone deserves to be the aggressive winger this week, for me, Ollie Hollands has to be front of the queue. And if they give Jackson Binns the aggressive role on his first start, I'll riot. Ollie deserves that because he has worked tirelessly for 2 years. So I think he deserves a little bit of moment in the sun. Take the game on, son. We're going to put Boydie, Newman behind you, and you're going to do what you're going to have fun this week. You're going to have fun this week.
I think who have we got coming up? We've got Port this week and then Collingwood the next week. I think if the schedule was a bit different and we had those West Coast and I don't even know who we played in the last game, St Kilda. Yep. If we had those 2 games this week and next week, I reckon we might see a Binns. Even though I've got him in my team, I actually don't think he will make it into the real team.
Mate, I don't mind it. Question for all of us from the Aid Dog. Josh Draper. Is that someone that turns you guys on that we should maybe look at? The older
Frio's defender?
It is.
I mean, we will need depth in that spot because I think we're going to lose a couple, but I don't have any specific feelings towards Draper. you'd be excited though if we're talking players. Your boy Paolo Cooper Lord's extended apparently.
All that. Yeah, that's what he's extended till. Well, it's a 1-year extension, isn't it?
End of next year, I'm guessing.
Very nice.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
very nice. Good on him. Good on him. Deserves that.
No,
Like
I
to
don't have. I
like
don't
to
have
see him in the
specific
team
thoughts
soon,
on him.
but I don't think it will. I don't think he will. But yeah, he's coming along nicely. I thought.
Couple of snags, playing a bit inside.
Doesn't seem to. Contest doesn't really seem to phase him. Good size too.
He's definitely one who's going to be putting a bit of pressure, I reckon, on George. You can tell Voss doesn't like the George Hewitt-Kennedy combination. So I reckon Cooper Lord must look at that and go, I've got this.
Yeah, it's my time.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I can attack. And I thought them goals were good. Josh Draper, just incidentally, if you don't know who he is, just go and Google him and just imagine the headline above his face is University College of Los Angeles, pick 13. Because he genuinely looks like anyone who's been taken, pick 10 to 20 in the NBA draft. He has that look.
UCLA is a UCLA product, is he?
Yeah, he has that look of, a little bit of a late riser in the NBA draft, shoots deep from the arc, decent defense.
I know Rodney Rocket likes him, so I don't know if that informs your decision anyway, but I know that Rodney Rocket likes him. So
right, there it is. Well, I mean, there's my team, and Paul has made the same changes, but slightly different personnel. All of us 4 changes. That's a rarity on this show. It is. It's because we haven't got Ian making 25 changes.
3 of a kind. So
take us through it, Paul.
We have gone and rested Lockie Cowan because he's a young tacker and he's had a long season, so he can have the week off and then be revved up for the Collingwood game. We have taken David Cunningham out of the team as well. Durden comes out with injury, and so does TDK. And we've gone McGovern in, obviously, provided he passes the fitness test. If he doesn't, it makes things a bit interesting. Marchbank back in, Pito in, and Boyd comes in. So I think the mix that we are looking at with McGovern, Marchbank, and Wiedering, I think is the mix that the coaches also would like to settle on. And I think that mix was probably when we were at our best last season as well. And I know it's a different season, but I'm happy to give Marchbank a go based on the fact that he was just a bit unlucky last week with illness. So I think that's quite a dynamic backline. And I get the feeling that from a back 6 perspective, just looking at those names on the puck, I think that's our best back 6 talent-wise. I think that's the way we want to settle it in the back end. So that's what I'm looking at now. From now till the end of the season, the back line that we want to run with from now until, fingers crossed, come finals.
Voss has got an obsession as well with Marchbank, hasn't he? I mean,
It does. Yeah.
And did you contemplate Rainer ass as well, like Lewis Young? Like, I know there's this massive rumor going around that Whittaker has a cry. Like, there's only 2 things that scare Whittaker in the world now, and it's if he ever answers the phone to an unknown number from a guy with an English accent, and the other one is he looks at the team sheet and sees Lewis Young name there. What does Lewis Young have to do you think, to actually be considered? Because he was in my contemplation, Paul, just with the ruck situation, because we know Voss has deployed him as a solo ruck in a win, incidentally.
That against Fremantle?
Yeah.
The problem is that he's not going to be solo ruck here, right? And if he does come out of the ruck and goes elsewhere, he's going to go down back, isn't he? Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid if he's down back alongside Wiedering, to me, it just becomes way too dour. And I don't like that. I don't, and that can be a plague with us from a mentality perspective when we start to sit too deep and we start to move. Because, I mean, it takes Lewis Young 30 seconds to get the ball from hand to boot when he marks unopposed. He just doesn't have that zip, unfortunately. And Wiedering's that dour, strong defender, but we know he can use the ball efficiently and make decisions on the fly when he needs to. So he is that man at the moment, Jacob Wiedering. And if you look at those other two intercepts, McGovern and Marchbank, those two players are just far more dynamic than what Lewis Young is. And both of those can play that defensive role as good as him and are actually better the other way as well. So the only way I see Lewis Young coming into the team is, heaven forbid, Jacob Wiedering goes out sore or something like that, because he would then become the dour defender. So he can't play as a second ruck, because outside of him being a ruck, what this is, if he goes down into the back line, we just become too dour, I think, and become too stagnant and too slow and too bulky down there.
No,
maybe I'm biased and I just can't see clearly, but I think of Marchbank as a pretty dour player. I don't really think of him as that explosive attacking player anymore. He's got the turning circle of my grandpa's Winnebago. Like, he's I don't look at him and think he's that much different to Young. I'd actually prefer Kemp out of the three and just accept his mistakes and hope that he could learn from them, rather than having Marchie or Young in the team personally.
Yeah, I do like Kemp, but I mean, I've always had a soft spot for Caleb Marchbank. I do think, and we know the injuries just destroyed him, unfortunately, and a lack of continuity. And we've seen what he's capable of in high pressure finals, like we saw last season. He was immense in the back end of last season, and I just get the feeling that his ceiling is just far higher than anyone we see in that role at the moment. So that's what I'm banking on here for the last 6 weeks of the season. That it's a risk, clearly, but I think it's a risk we need to take. And I trust Marchbank more ball in hand going the other way than I do with Lewis Young. And I don't know, Marchbank's intensity levels are just higher than, just Lewis Young I don't know. I'm looking at the team that's going to bring us to from now into finals, and I don't see Young as part of it, whereas I see Marchbank as being part of it.
I know it. You know what?
Sorry,
you go, Pom.
You know what? I've been quite harsh on Marchbank, right, in my VFL reports, and when he played AFL. You know, one thing that concerns me, Paul, and I'd love everyone in chat as well, is when Kerno returned from that big knee injury. I remember that St Kilda game, and you could see there was no fear in his body. He didn't play exceptionally well, but he kicked that goal from like 90 metres out off a step. But you could see that the issues with Charlie, where he hadn't played for 5 years, you could see it was still there. The confidence was there. And that's why I was quite confident in saying he'd win the Coleman the year after. When I watched Marchbank in VFL, to see him being bodied by guys who were working at Coles worried me. Like, his kicking was still there and the attacking nous was still there. But what scared me is his defense. It looked like his body was his priority. It looked like he wasn't willing to get his body in front. Does that not concern you that maybe that's gone? Because, like, for me, Kemp isn't a one-on-one defender, but I would play Kemp all day if it was a loose role over Marchbank, because I feel like Kemp's ceiling is at all Australian. Marchbank's, he's 29 years old next year.
Yeah. And that's the risk that you take, isn't it? I think it's more like, I'm just looking more based on what we saw with him last season. And like I said, I know it's a different season and he's had his fair share of trials and tribulations this year. But I just feel he's got something in him. I just feel he's got something in him just based off what we saw last season. And it's also a bit of a sway that way purely because the coaches I think they're just going to side with him. I really just think they were going to side with him last week until he became ill. So that just tells me that he's probably going to be the one that they pick, which intrigues me. And I've always liked him as a footballer, but It's between him and Kemp, really. Kemp's had the continuity, which has to count for a lot. But I think, it's Marchbank for me. Only just.
I'd love to see a game where, and it's not this week, but I'd love to see an imaginary game where we've got Gov, Young at fullback, and then Wiedering playing as an interceptor. I know it won't happen because that's not how he's built these days, but I still think he's got the best upside for an interceptor in our team. But anyway, I'll continue living in my fantasy land.
Mate.
What was the other move? The other move to make, and we mentioned it before, but I haven't got him down as being out. It's obviously provided he passes a fitness test, but Blake Acres on the wing, if he is to be removed from the team, I don't think that they will bring in Binns because I think he's a defensive liability, unfortunately. He's just not, you look at what Ollie Hollands did defensively against North Melbourne on the weekend, and you look at what Blake Acres does defensively on a consistent basis, and Jackson Binns doesn't have that in him. And I know, he could potentially play a different role, Jackson Binns, but we're looking at a pure wingman here. I think they'll shift someone else out there. I think they would shift potentially Walsh out to a wing for bigger periods of time to cover for Acres, and then that would potentially see Chera move his way into the midfield as well, which I think a lot of us would like to see. So I think that's also an option there as well. But I've obviously picked Acres on the proviso. He's fit and ready to rock and roll.
I was watching the VFL this weekend, and the one thing I don't think we have is an Acres replacement.
Good call.
Like, as a wing, like I think Ollie's kind of it, but I think you're still waiting 2 years for his body to naturally fill out.
Of course. Yeah.
And then I was watching, and I'm just thinking, Xavier, you see Xavier in the VFL, big body, plays out on the wing, comes to defensive halfback. Would that be something that maybe Carlton look at? Because you're going to get Lucas and Ben Camporelli in this draft, and neither of them is defensive and going to be that big body. That's where I worry for Jackson, because Ben Camporelli is basically an improved version of Jackson Binns. Do you think maybe Carlton are going to be looking at that backup? Because, like you say, if Acres comes out of that team, the only option is what we did this weekend. Ollie Hollands shifts there, and then you play a real defensive player behind him so he can just get more advanced and not have to worry about doubling back all the time.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. The thing is that do you want to shift? So do you want to shift those halfback flankers in behind wingers to make up for the lack of defensive craft if Acres is out of the team? You don't want to be shifting too much defensive responsibility to Newman and Sard and Boyd, because you want them to go the other way as well. So I don't know. It's an interesting scenario. It's I don't, and this is not me potting the kid or anything, but if I'm looking at the team at the moment, I don't trust Jackson Binns in a high pressure scenario at this time of the year. That's what it is for me at the moment. Period.
Yeah, for me, he's got to play the Cottrell role, but
I agree.
I love him. I think he's a great finisher of play, Jackson Binns. Got a great eye for goal, got lovely disposal. But the question that you have to ask is, are you going to get a lot of space or a lot of time and space like you do in the VFL at AFL level to deliver the ball? Because those 4 or 5 steadying steps that you take in VFL to assure of your disposal, the likelihood of that happening at AFL level, you're probably only going to get 1.5 or 2 steps. So the pressure ratchets up. Can he deal with the pressure? You're banking in on a kid who has not been there and done it yet. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I think that they would not go with him and go with someone who is in the squad at the moment. And I think the person would be Sam Walsh. It may even be Adam Chera.
You know what, Matty here, there's a lot of strings to my Carl's bow. And if you go back to watch the draft the draft profile we did on Cowan before he was drafted, he was like the man when shit hit the fan at Tassie, because Tassie was shit that year. But if they needed a goal, he'd go half forward. And if they were struggling to get out of the back half of the ground, they would play him as a high half back, almost floating into the wing territory. Is that something, Paul, maybe we look at in the off-season, trying to get these players advanced? Because see some people in chat talking about Saad, play him in the midfield and things like that. I'm not a fan. I think Saad's, in my opinion, too old.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep him where he is. Keep him where he is. But I don't mind Cowan adding a string to his bow, get him, because he's good overhead. He's a big boy. Work on his engine a little bit. Maybe try and push him a little bit further forward.
So there was a game that he played. Oh, who did we play? Was it the? Trying to think, who did we play on the 25th?
Was it the Geelong game? Or are you thinking last year?
A bit before that. It might have been the GWS game where we came out and maybe it wasn't the GW. There was a game where we played at Marvel Stadium. I couldn't remember if it was against.
Yeah, there was one game where he was playing what he looked like in juniors.
There was a game that he played against the Gold Coast Suns. It was when we beat them earlier this year, and he played. So there was a passage of play right in front of me where he pressed up to the wing, and we had been in our front half, but he was very aggressive in that defensive role, but he was out on a wing. It was just the way the game shape was and the way the game was being played, that he was the last man in that scenario. But he kind of actually read the play so well, where he had a Gold Coast player in front of him, a Gold Coast player behind him, but he positioned himself and marked himself at a point with which he was defending the wing so well, right, that if the Gold Coast move had been to the player in front of him, he would have closed them down. If the Gold Coast move had been at the back, he would have been able to get back in time to read the play and read the cues and get back to intercept. So, and I love his directness as well, which is something that I know Blake Acres can be direct as a winger, but I find his kicks can be a bit loopy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas Cowan's just that penetrating, zinging kick that we can have when he does win the ball back defensively. And I think he's still working on it, but I do think he is a pretty good intercept. And I know, Pommy, you and I and you, Lek Dog, too. I mean, we do like a tall winger. I think a tall winger is, and it could very well be something that he becomes. He's still young. We don't know. Know.
I mean, what I've thrown on your screen there was actually his Richmond heat map.
Okay.
He was good in that game as well.
Yeah.
So in that heat map, Vossi deployed him for the third and fourth quarter.
So we are kicking to the right here. Is that right?
Yeah, left to right. Yeah. He deployed him in where Acres usually is, and Acres went to protect Ollie, because if you remember that game, Ollie was having a bit of a nightmare in that game. He was getting targeted by Cam McIntosh.
Yes.
So they moved Blake to protect Ollie to stop that, and Cowan basically became the Acres and Saad combination on the left, and he was sensational that game. Obviously, he hasn't quite got the engine yet, though. Like, he couldn't do it the whole game, and you could see, I think, the fourth quarter, we told him off in the ratings because, like, I think it actually killed him.
Yeah,
that one quarter, but you never know. You know what I mean? Just doesn't take long to get the fitness, does it, Paolo?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. No, I mean, but you've got to, and as Nick Power said, you've got to steadily build it. You don't want to burn these young players into the ground and ruin their bodies. That's and as you said, in that fourth quarter, the stress levels in the body continue to go up, and that's when you're at risk of strains. That's when you're at risk of soft tissue injuries. So you don't want to ruin the kid by redlining him too much early in his career. So, this week's team selection is very interesting because we have a few force changes, but then we also have some changes in the team where we can move the magnets on the field at the moment and put those players into different roles, but we can also pick from the VFL. So this is why our coaches get paid the big dollars to get things right.
You know what? one last thing I'll say on the VFL before we pick our teams is I was gutted Billy Wilson didn't have a blinder this week, because it would have been a great opportunity to not rush Boyd back. Because I thought we missed Boyd last week. I thought we didn't have that outlet ball. It would have been great to be able to have this great argument of Billy Wilson. He's not niggled. He's not having an injury. Maybe this is the week that you bring him in.
Why didn't he play, by the way? Is he still a bit crook, is he? Or
yeah, he's I'm pretty sure this is just speculation, but I'm pretty sure it was gastro.
Okay, right.
That Marchbank had. So Billy had it. So obviously these boys have, been playing kiss tag or something. So there we are. But let's get down to business, chat. You've been very good, chat, as well. Actually, you've asked some good questions today. You know what, chat? I'm very proud of you. You know what? I've just fucking given you the wrong screen. Pom.
Yeah. Financial.
Bell says Carl's on the edge of being tipped out of card, and other clubs must be circling. I actually did a bit, because I've had plenty of time while I was overseas, did a bit of a look at our list, and he was one player that I did think potentially could crack the shits and say, send me somewhere else. So interesting one.
He's still very.
He's like what, 22? Is he? Is he even 22 yet?
21. He's a baby.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Bugsbow and Let Dog. Me and my mate the other day, we were just going through players we'd buy if we were shit. Like bottom four sides. If you were bottom four sides. And two names I said I would think Carlton would part with was Jack Carroll. If I had, like I said, North. Jack Carroll's probably a North player. They've got rough bodies. They've got light little guns. They haven't really got a connector, though, that is in between LDU and Cheezel. But Kennedy's the other one. Because I think when everyone's fit, I don't think Voss rates him. Because he's the first
he
to
rates
move.
him a lot. Well, he moves him around and he keeps him in the team. Whereas I think if he really didn't want him, he'd have him out of the team. But I agree, it went because I did this, great minds, Pom. He was one that if I was another team, I'd be like, anyone who needs an inside mid should be going for him.
Yeah, because I said if I was Eagles, I've got 100-year-old players, or I've got 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kennedy probably at Carlton is the bits and pieces player.
Yeah, yeah.
Where if I'm West Coast, I'm saying you are playing 100% on the ball. You are my main man. You are going to work with Kelly and Reed. You are my number 2 midfielder. I was like, if you're Kennedy, you're probably an idiot not to take that offer, because at least you've got a guaranteed role.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'd like to not lose him, though. I really like him.
I don't want to lose him.
I don't want to
lose
lose
him. I was doing it more as a buying club.
Yeah,
who would be on my list. I would be like, Kennedy, I think, is the most gettable midfielder in the AFL.
Yep. If you could promise him mid-time, 1 year till he's unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, like Setterfield, because Carlton were quite upfront with Setterfield. We'll offer you a deal, but you're not first choice mid. You're probably going to play on the wing, pinch it on the ball. And then Essendon were like, we'll play you full-time on the ball, bro.
Yeah.
And we didn't stand in his way. Like, I think we would stand in Kennedy's way, so there would have to be a trade. But I think he's like Bugsball says, I think burst player from the midfield who can kick a goal, who's tough and not soft, who's going to protect my babies. Kennedy's that man, isn't he?
Very interesting.
All right, let's pick this side.
Okay, well, quickly.
Let's have a look.
Quickly before we go, we've got turnover. Carlton, obviously, the number 1 defensive turnover side and top 3 scoring. A big advantage here for the Blues. 3 goals from turnover is big. Scores from defensive half, very similar. Very similar. Blues, though, are top 2 for that stat. Port are 5th. Scores from stoppage. This is an interesting one. Blues continue to be one of the top sides. It's our scoring against one of the few sides In AFL history, here's a POM stat. In the last 20 years, one of 3 sides to be ranked top 3 for stoppage scores, but have a break-even differential. Very rare. And the territory battle is a new stat for you. You all like this. This turns you on. Carlton are playing the number 1 territory gaining side in the league over the last 5 weeks. 280 feet. But the Blues, number 1 defensive side from defending territory. This is a stat, though, that has gone down on average 182 every week over the last 5 weeks since Voss has adopted a less kick chase policy and more sitting back. So this is a real interesting stat, one we've got to watch out for, because this could smell dramas.
Dan Houston's going to gain about 1 kilometre on his own, isn't he?
Interesting you say that. If you did watch the preview before, we did talk about Carlton's forward thing is probably saving them every week from that being really bad. Our forward pressure probably saves us 9 times out of 10. It's the mids, though. Mids need to work harder both ways. But we're here to pick the team. As usual, we'll save one person. As Says Gibbs 5 gifted.
Hey.
You are an angel, Says. I love you very much. I
always hope I'm going to get one of those gifted memberships, but it hasn't hit me yet.
Actually happened to me the other day in Blue Abroad, which I thought was funny. I was due, my direct debit was due, and I didn't pay it, and then someone jumped in. So I was like, that's good. Do you want to do my gas bill as well? We'll pick one each. We'll agree on one, and we'll give you 2. But make sure you thank Says, as you're all doing. Well-trained chat here. This is why you are the best chat in the world. So, Lek, you're back. You're cynical. I feel like you're the Saint Kilda of this team selection. You're here to be the Grinch. Who the fuck are you picking for your backline?
I'd love to throw some spanners straight away, but no, I'm going to put, I think, our most missed player over the last few weeks, Mitch McGovern.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Mitchie, the big Mitch dog.
Any concerns that he didn't make the training gallery today on social media?
Well, I've got a lot of theories about the training gallery. What was with your tweet? Was that about Doherty or was that about Domaku? Because I think they sneak in players intentionally into these galleries.
It was about Doc, wasn't it?
Make of it.
Well, I got to ask the question.
Make of it what you will. Everybody has their own interpretations and perspective.
Can I just say, I'm not going to reveal who it is, but a very good friend of mine who is a manic Carlton fan and watches everything Paul does, right? Actually sent me a message where he did it and goes, "Is your mate Dom debuting?" And I'm like, "Fuck you!" And I was like, "Fuck you! What about you daft twat?" And he was like, "Paul's just fucking put a poster up," and I'm like, looked at it, and straight away I was like, "If you think Domaku's debuting, I'm going to leave you with it." I was like,
the tweet was about Charlie wearing a beanie while training.
Was it? Oh, I thought it was because Doc was there.
Remember when Cade Simpson was wearing a hat? Was it Cade Simpson and that was a news story? Or Andrew Walker?
Andrew Walker in the hat. Yeah, Andrew Walker in the hat.
Trained in a cat.
Yeah, that was the caption of the photo.
I can remember me and Let Dog starting a rumour that David Cunningham died. And the reason that he keeps getting injured is because we had to replace him because we didn't want the AFL to fine us. And one of my mates was in a bar and actually goes to David Cunningham. This is a true story. You're right, mate. My fucking mate reckons you're dead. And Connors was just like, looked at him like point blank, like, what the fuck are you on about?
He wasn't in the photo for 2 years. All right, let's keep going.
I'm saying
Backman.
I'm going to save Adam Sard.
Adam Sard. La 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 la. You know what? I have a sneaky feeling that we might see a debut in the next couple of weeks as well.
I think we might see a debut in the next couple of weeks too.
Who are we saving? Backman. You know what? I'm going to make it easy because I like it when the chat have to think. So we've got to agree on a backman. I've saved Whittaker in. We've got McGovern. We've got Saad. Backman, who are we saving between all three of us? We have to agree on one.
Do we give them the hard job and choose Nick Newman? Or
yeah, Newey?
What about why don't we try to agree on the
because I don't think we're going to.
Yeah, I was going to say I think we've picked our intercept, and I think we all agree it's McGovern. So we'll leave the chat. We'll leave it with that to decide about the next intercept.
Okay, well, we'll give it easy. We've given you Newman. So chat, you need 3 backmen. So you need 2 names from you, your back pocket and an interceptor. And your names are Akers, Binns, Boyd, Carroll, Chera, Chincotta, Cottrell, Cowan, Cripps, Cunningham, Kerner, Elijah, Fogg, Hewitt, Hollands. Fuck, these names are getting bigger. Kent, Kennedy, Marchbank, Martin, Mackay, Motlop, Owies, Pitternet, Walsh. Helps if you take a breath before you speak, Mr. Dan.
Yeah, 4 votes for Boyd Cowan, 5 votes for Boyd Cowan, 6 votes for Boyd Cowan, 1 vote for Marchie and Cowan.
Looks like it's Boyd and Cowan.
Yeah, this is just going off Boyd Cowan.
Yeah, there's a couple of battlers in there for Kemp and for Marchie, but they've all gone.
You know what though, chat? I'm proud that you've gone on the Pom theory of give him another week. Just make him. Just force. I'm a big Kemp man. Just force him one more week. One more week, baby. Okay, we're on mids.
And we can ruin Scott Pendlebury's 400th.
Yeah.
Just make him tag Pendlebury for the whole 4 quarters. Wear him like a glove. Midfielder leg. I'll show you.
Put Adam Chera
on the wing.
No, I don't want him on the wing. Put him on the ball for me somewhere.
Okay.
I want to leave that wing spot open.
Okay, he's on the ball. He's one of the followers. He's one of the rovers. If we were doing this in the 60s,
yes,
Mr. Paul.
We are going to save. Where are we going to go? Centre line, or are we going follower?
Whatever you want. You can do a follower. You can do a.
Let's save. Let's save Rodri.
Rodri. You know what? How good was it? Rodri comes back. Just everything's all good again.
Yep. Shock horror.
I will save. You know what? I'm gonna bring Ollie, and I'm gonna plot. Look, there you are. I'm gonna give you something to think about, chat. I've put him on the attacking side.
Okay, this is good.
We've got to agree on one. Shall we just do the ruckman so chat can have fun?
Yeah, Ruck or Cripps. I don't mind. Or do we want to take control of the wing situation?
I want to see what they do.
All right. Well, let's put Pito in.
All right. Ruck, Cripps or Pito? Paul.
Pito.
Okay.
Because
I've made several memes about him this week, so I'd like to save him.
He doesn't get the love he deserves.
No, mate, he's going to be so good. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man.
I'm telling you.
So, chat, you need a winger and a centreman. So, let's see who you've got.
A centre?
I scrolled up way too far then. You've got Cripps, Walsh, Cripps.
Pito, Pito.
Cheers, Frank. We love you, brother.
On your Frank.
Cripps, Walsh.
Says Alex Harris.
This could be like one of them things, one of them like dating philosophies of how do people word it? Cripps Walsh or Walsh Cripps?
Batman Robin, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? I feel like if I got Zoe involved, my wife, in this, she could tell us a lot about the psychology of a man that says Cripps Walsh.
Yeah.
It does actually sound off to me, Cripps Walsh.
I'd say Walsh Cripps.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd say Walsh Cripps.
I'd say Cripps and Walsh.
You're
yeah.
I'd throw in the end.
Yeah, well, Walsh is. Looks like you've gone. Hey, chat. Walsh is on the wing.
Walsh is on the wing.
Can I just say, just quietly, I am telling you that fucking wins football matches, right? Holland's protected by Cowan and Newman one side, and then Walsh being bowled down that side. And then if you play Fogarty and Motlop this right-hand side, fuck me, it's game over. You've accidentally found it, chat. Voss.
Well done, chat.
You don't need your laptop anymore. We're here. Right, here we are. Forwards, Leckdog.
Give it to my boy. This is his house, Matt Owies.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that there was a tweet which went out earlier in the week that I think there were a few Collingwood supporters mouthing off about Matt Owies and, he does all this stuff with the Guernsey and he's no good. And he would actually be leading Collingwood's goal scoring this season.
That's awesome.
Hollywood
fans are crazy. Of all the people in the world to think about, Matt Owies isn't the one at the top of my list.
Matthew Owies would be leading the goal scoring for Collingwood this season.
That's so
if you watch the Monday show, there was a Collingwood fan in dissing him, and we went through every team, and he was top 3 of every team. Because some Collingwood fan was like, what did he say? Oh, Pommy's taking the piss out of the Schultz deal. He'd swap him for any of your Smalls. And I was like, probably not.
No.
I was like, probably not. Probably not, mate. He's the
best footballer in the world.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Forward. Who was saving?
We are going to save Friday Night Lights specialist, Charlie Curnow.
Charlie Curnow.
This is his scenario. This is his time.
I love that he has
Sunday
shit games and
he's not a Sunday 4:40 p.m. against second last on the table Fox Footy match last game of the round. That's not him. Here's Friday Night Lights under pressure, 50,000 at Marvel Stadium, prime time viewing. We have to win to lock down second. This is his game. This is him.
Yeah, who's going to play on him? Radigalia or who? I can't even think.
I'll make him try.
Old mate BZT.
Brandon Thatcher.
Good luck to him.
You know what? I'm going to bring Ollie Hollands to play in front of his brother in that attacking role.
I like a little bit of a combination there. The Hollands combination.
Shall we?
I like
shall we make?
When they were kicking to each other.
Shall we go Mackay so chat can have fun with the Smalls?
Yes, let's do that, shall we? Let's save the big H.
Right, chat. You need a half forward and a forward. These are your names: Akers, Binns, Carroll, Cincotta, Cottrell, Cunningham, Fogarty, Kemp, Kennedy, Marchbank, Jack Martin, and Jesse Motlop. Tell you what, even though we've got injury crisis,
it's a good team.
Fuck me, the fact that they are. No, but the fact that we've picked a team we have and we've still got these 12 fucking idiots here.
Yeah.
Like, if they are the 12 worst players left in the club, we're doing okay, aren't we?
Mott's Fog, Mott, Fog,
like
Mott.
Geez, how good was didn't Motlop hit the ground running on the weekend? Just comes in, goes bang, bang, bang. Yeah, I really liked his game.
You know, I was saying it in my review, and people forget this. His defensive pressure as well.
Yeah.
Because I had a bit of a pop shot at Martin, and someone wasn't happy in chat, but I said, the wonderful thing about Mott is he shows he can defend and kick them goals. So, if them goals disappear one week, his defense is still strong. Where Martin, let's be honest, he's the kid in the shopping centre if he don't kick goals.
Yeah.
So we've
Fog
got
in
Fog.
Pom.
Look at that. That right-hand side line. Boyd, Sard, Walsh, Motlop, Fogarty. Yeah, keep your Dan Houston, because Houston's got a fucking problem when he's stopping that. All right, we are at the bench. Okay, a benchman. A benchman, is that a word?
Benchman.
Professional benchman.
Right. That's actually tough. So I'm just gonna the first name on that list that I think I want in the team. Oh fuck, this is tough, man.
I'm going to say, why don't we just keep Akers out because both of
Yeah,
you had him out and I had him in. So, majority rules.
Yeah, I'm thinking of him as injured in my head.
Okay.
But I think that's very gracious of you there, Paolo.
Thank you.
I might keep Cottrell on our bench.
Yeah.
As a bit of that forward.
It was actually nice to see him on the weekend.
He showed up for that one.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, due to AFL diversity laws, you have to have a ginger. So we have to pick Cottrell, really.
Correct. Agree.
Paul, who are you saving?
We are going to save the clamp, Alex Chincotta.
Nice.
Yep.
Part of me wants to bring in Jack Martin.
Your call, mate.
A real big part of me.
He'll kick 2 in the first quarter and then we can sub him.
Which big part of you, Pommy?
A lot of it. Yeah, you see, I'm between two names and I don't know why. But I feel like Kennedy's just wasted, so I'm saving Connors.
Okay. All right. Judgment calls must be made.
Chat, we'll give you 2. Akers, Binns, Carroll, Kennedy, Marchbank, Martin.
I reckon they shouldn't be allowed to pick Akers if I'm
okay, we're gonna ban you from Akers. Your wife's a redhead. Good day to your wife. I used to date a redhead once, and actually, I've got to say, she's the opposite of what the rumor was. She was placid. Honestly, Zoe's a blonde, and she's a psychopath, so I reckon it's blonde.
I think Kennedy's in. Based on all of these, and then is it Martin or Carroll?
I think Martin's making a fucking charge, isn't he?
Yes, he's coming late.
Martin's, honestly... Oh, I think it's Martin.
All right. Big JM. He's in.
In the off-season, Alex, in the off-season, we just have to do more of these chats, which are just inappropriate over a beer. I mean, wouldn't do again.
Sometimes it's just best off being bald. You set me up with a bald woman.
Well, it looks like we're resting Akers. Marchbank gets a rest. Binns has another week. Carroll drops out and goes back to VFL, and Kemp gets the other week. But this team, I actually think this is the strongest of the year, and we don't have TDK. But look, Boyd, Whittaker, and Newman, Cowan, McGovern, Sard, Walsh, Cripps, Hollands, Elijah, Mackay, Motlop, Fogarty, Kerner, Owes, Pitternet, Cherry, Hewitt, Cottrell, Chincotta, Connors, Martin, and Kennedy. That's goals. Like that. Paul said Kerner is Mr. Showtime. I've got a feeling you bring Martin on. He kicks 2 goals in a quarter in the first. Does nothing after that, but it's what a quarter.
Yeah. Good call.
What a fucking quarter. Well, Let Dog, what are you doing for the rest of the week? Talk to me. You'll be up to something.
Dropped an article today on Code Sports. If you're playing Supercoach Draft, it's actually a little bit interesting, even if you don't play that. I looked at points allowed by position over the last 10 weeks and then told you who to pick up. And then I'm hoping to have a video out on my YouTube channel, Alexi does, this week, but that will be time permitting.
Well, there you are. Look, chat, I'm putting that in the link for you, the Code Sports thing. May I suggest it is a paywall, so you could support Leg Dog, or you could use one of the many little dodgy things that gets round a paywall.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone's from there's watching. Be dodgy. I don't get extra money from the paywall.
I mean, if you want to go on www.archive.md, enter that in there, and skip the payroll, that's on you. I'm not encouraging you to do it. Just know I judge you if you pay for paywalls.
It's an option.
But we're looking forward to your Lexi Does video. I can't wait for Leckdog to get sacked because bombs cost thousands of sponsorship. Paul, what are you doing this week?
Got just a whole heap of stuff here at SEN. The racing's going to start to heat up, which is good fun. We've got footy stuff to get through. The Premier League is starting to heat up, so you can catch me every Tuesday night, not just only on the Jumper Punch, but on the Sporting Capital with Jordan Canales. So him and I will be doing a Premier League preview from now until the start of the season, which is going to be fantastic. So we'll be punching through that. The Jumper Punch Stage Show 2.0 is set for the 31st of August, which is the bye week of finals. Tickets will be on sale next week. We're about to finalise all of that come the end of the week. And outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. Untitled Blues Pod, of course, you can see the profile picture which you put up all the time, Pommy. So thank you very much for that. And that's that, mate. That is that.
Hopefully you're doing the EPL, just saying that United's transfer window guaranteed to win the flag. We're doing a title charge.
Like the under-23s.
Mate, United fans have already started calling Euro Vidic, which,
right.
I mean, he had a good 30 minutes against Rangers this weekend, but fuck me. What am I doing this week? Tomorrow we've got a new show. I may be roping someone in. They just haven't been asked yet, but I'm going to do an AMP video for the game once the team is released. So I might try and rope Leckdog out of retirement. We used to do teams together. Do you want to do a post-team show tomorrow, 8 o'clock?
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm out for dinner tomorrow. But
tell
your missus to get fucked. You're not married yet. If not, I'll find someone. But you can come and say hi to me. I'll be live for an hour. Thought we'd kick back. I have got something special for you. The lovely Aidan asked some questions about Mark Pitternet and how does that affect our turnover and transition and things like that. So we will be covering that, and we'll probably just do a phone-in show. I'll drop the link. You can come and chat shit with me and keep me company for an hour because I've got to take the kids out all day tomorrow. So I'll be in very much need of adult company.
Bit of a therapy session with the crew, I reckon.
Yeah, Pom will just be there, like absolutely devoid of anything good because the kids have sapped my energy. If you do get a chance, go and check out the new preview that's up. We've done things a little bit differently. Some of you love it, some don't like it. So let me know if them graphs were a little bit more confusing. We tried to streamline it a bit based on some of your feedback. So let me know, but it is quite cool. And we'll see you next week. Peace, love, and light. Go Blues.
See you guys.
See ya.